Lava lamp disaster. Philip was only a 24-year-old in 2004 when he decided to use his lava lamp. Normally, these lamps should be harmless, but one day he plugged them in and waited for the colorful wax to start flowing after a few minutes. Nothing was happening. The lamp stayed cold and boring. Philip wasn't the patient type, so he came up with what seemed like the best shortcut. He carried the lava lamp to the kitchen stove and placed it directly near a hot burner. His logic was quite simple. Heat makes lava lamps work, so more heat should make them work even faster. What he didn't know was that lava lamps are only designed to handle temperatures up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, so a steaming hot burner can reach over 500 degrees Fahrenheit. The lamp rapidly overheated while the pressure inside built up with nowhere to go. Within minutes, the lava lamp exploded with so much force that the glass shards flew in every direction. One large piece shot straight into Philip's chest and pierced his heart. He died instantly in his own kitchen, killed trying to watch pretty colors float around faster. You don't have to learn these lessons the hard way. Subscribe, Encyclopedia Bullet Test.
Damn it, boy.
For more than a month, Mona Lisa Perez said her boyfriend had been begging her to launch his YouTube channel with a bang.
Next up is an interesting case of Pedro Ruiz and Mona Lisa Perez, who were a young couple just trying to make it big on YouTube back in June 2017. While it might seem like it's impossible to happen, hear me out. Their family vlogs weren't getting enough views, so just like everything trendy back in the days, they switched to pranks. Little did they know, it would be the biggest mistake of their lives. At first, the numbers went up, but then Pedro figured out that extreme pranks are equal to more views, and their whole clout chasing seemed possible right in their grips. That's when he came up with a simple test. The plan was to see if a thick book could stop a bullet. There, Pedro would hold a 1.5-inch encyclopedia against his chest, and then his girl would shoot it from 1 foot away. They set up the cameras and invited over 30 friends to watch, but there was a fatal mistake in this test. The gun they chose for this test was the Desert Eagle, which is one of the most fatal guns in the world. Mona Lisa stood 1 foot away and aimed at the book Pedro was holding. She pulled the trigger. The bullet went straight through the inside of the video, like tissue paper, and killed Pedro instantly. She called the police, claiming that she'd accidentally shot her boyfriend, but the footage told a different story. This was planned and deliberately executed. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter and received 180 days in prison. The video went viral worldwide, just not the way they would have imagined. Chimney grenade. Speaking of pranks, not everyone is doing extreme things just to get some views. 55-year-old Marco had a dirty chimney in his Italian workshop in January 2005. He tried cleaning it with a regular broom, but the bristles were too small, and he needed something with more weight to pull the broom through. Looking around his cluttered workshop, he spotted what seemed like the perfect solution. There he had a grenade. His plan was quite straightforward here. He would weld the grenade to a chain and broom handle, and then pull the weight assembly through the chimney to scrape clean. He grabbed his welding equipment and got to work while positioning the grenade, firing up his torch, and bringing the flame close to begin welding. The moment the welding torch touched the metal, the grenade exploded. The blast killed Marco instantly. Ironically, the chimney still remained completely untouched even after his death. Would you try something like that? Let us know in the comments down below. The water tower thief. Then came Easter Monday, 2022 in Italy, where it was a holiday and it meant that all stores were closed. A 46-year-old man was extremely thirsty but had nowhere to buy water legally, so he broke into a grocery store after hours. He successfully broke in and found a massive bottled tower. Store employees had stacked boxes in a tall display, which were probably 15 to 20 boxes high. Instead of simply taking the bottle from the top, the man decided to pull one of the boxes in the middle of the tower. This was devastating. As soon as he grabbed a bottle from the middle of the stack, the entire tower became unstable and came crashing down on top of him. Hundreds of pounds of water bottles buried him completely, and the man was crushed to death under that weight. Store workers discovered the mess the next morning, and when they lifted the first few bottles, they saw an arm sticking out. Police reviewed security footage and confirmed that the man had broken in just to get water and ended up killing himself by the very water that he was trying to steal. Like they say, common sense is not common in common people. If you value it, subscribe to our channel now. Unbreakable window.
No! Runs at the window, you know, to prove it was shatterproof.
Holy shit!
Now let's go to a Toronto office building where, on the 24th floor, there was a corporate lawyer named Gary Hoy. He had a strange party trick he loved to perform for visitors, which was to demonstrate how strong the building's windows were by throwing his entire body against them. The glass would flex but hold, and Gary would bounce off dramatically. He had done this dozens of times and probably gained many clients due to this one trick. But on July 9, 1993, Gary was giving law students a tour. He said that these windows are unbreakable. He ran backwards and slammed his body into the window. It worked perfectly. Feeling good, he decided to do it again, but this time it was different. The glass didn't break, but the entire window popped out of the frame. Gary went flying 24 buildings down to the street, riding the window panel all the way down. The investigation revealed that Gary had performed his stunts so many times that he had gradually loosened the window frame. He died instantly. He was 38 years old, killed while showing off how safe the windows actually were, which they weren't. Scooter fight. Back in 2004, two college students in Taiwan went out for drinks. During the conversation, they discovered that they both had crushes on the same girl on campus. Rather than simply asking the girl which one she preferred, they decided to settle it through combat. This was like they were jousting like medieval knights using their motor scooters. The rules were simple: drive straight at each other at full speed, and whoever turns away first would lose. They were without helmets or any protection. They got onto their scooters and faced each other down the straight road. They accelerated towards each other, quickly reaching around 50 miles per hour. Neither one wanted to be covered and have this stamp on their manhood, so they crashed head-on with tremendous force. Both died from the impact. Later, when someone told the girl what happened, she said she wasn't romantically interested in either one of them anyway. Two young men killed themselves for a prize that didn't even exist. Plastic bag beekeeper. A Brazilian farmer discovered a beehive on his property in 2002 and decided to burn it out. He put on thick gloves, long pants, and a long-sleeve shirt while sealing every gap with duct tape so the bees wouldn't crawl in. For his face, he pulled a plastic bag over his entire head and sealed it tightly around his neck with tape. With his face fully protected, he grabbed a torch and headed out to burn the hive. Several hours passed, and he didn't return. His wife found him lying dead under the beehive, but it wasn't the bees that killed him. The hive was completely untouched. The plastic bag had worked perfectly at keeping the bees out. It had also kept him out of oxygen. The farmer had forgotten to poke air holes in the bag with his hands sealed in taped gloves. He couldn't even tear the bag open. He suffocated himself while protected. He was acting against bee stings that never even came. Bungee jump. 22-year-old Erica Garcia wanted to go bungee jumping back in July 1977, but couldn't find any commercial operations in his area of Virginia, so he decided to create one of his own. He picked a railroad bridge 70 feet high, brought several bungee cords, tied them together, and reinforced them with duct tape. He even tied one end around his neck and ankle and secured the other end to the bridge railing. Then he jumped. There was one critical mistake that Eric made and never even considered. Bungee cords could stretch when weights are pulled on them. The cord measured slightly shorter than the 70-foot bridge height before he jumped. When they stretched under his falling weight, they became longer than the distance to the ground. Eric hit the pavement with full force and died instantly. A jogger found his dead body the next morning with a bungee cord still attached, stretched to the maximum length. His grandmother told reporters Eric had always been smart in school, but we guess that wasn't the case here. Fake robbery. Luciano Raccitelli was a 28-year-old professional footballer in Italy, playing for Lazio. Then came January 18, 1977, when he and his teammate decided to stage a fake robbery to scare their friend Bruno, who owned a jewelry store in Rome. They covered their faces, grabbed realistic prop guns, and burst into the store yelling, "Hands in the air! This is a stick-up!" But they didn't know that Bruno's store had been robbed. He had bought it several weeks earlier and purchased a real shotgun for protection. When Bruno saw masked men with guns, he didn't think it was a prank. He pulled out his shotgun, and Luciano's teammate immediately put his hands up. But he stayed in character, thinking Bruno was playing along. Bruno, genuinely fearing for his life, fired at close range. He collapsed. He gasped, "It's a joke! It's just a joke!" But it was already too late. He died 30 minutes later, leaving behind a wife and 2 children. Bruno was arrested but released after authority determined he'd acted only in self-defense. Patriotic hat. And for the last one on our list, it was July 4th, 2024, in Summerville, South Carolina, where 41-year-old Alan McGrew was hosting a neighborhood block party dressed as Uncle Sam. He completed it with a tall, star-spangled top hat. After hours of drinking, around 10:20 p.m., Alan had an idea that probably seemed amazing at that time. He grabbed a huge firework and placed it directly on top of the Uncle Sam hat while it was still on his head. His wife, Paige, assumed he was joking, because surely he wouldn't actually light it, but he had already lit the fuse. The firework exploded while positioned on Alan's head. Paramedics described it as massive head trauma, and Alan died instantly. He literally became his own fireworks display that he was trying to show to others. Which death surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments down below. And you're fascinated by how fast things go wrong. So why aren't you subscribed? Let's not add you to the list.